Hello and welcome guys back to another Flutter episode. From today on, I'll be teaching you how to make animations in Flutter. In this video, I'll cover an animation known as the tween animation. Now, let's first create a new Dart file. We'll call this animation example. And next thing, we'll implement our live template. After that, let's extend our width with single ticker provider state mixin. This allows us to do animations inside Flutter. And next thing, inside this, first we have to import our animation dot just like this. Now let's save this, and next thing we say animation and we'll give it a double type and we'll call this animation. And next thing, we'll make an animation controller called controller. And next thing, we'll have the init state placed to provide a code when the application starts. Here, we'll say super dot init state, and after that we'll have our controller made equal to new animation controller, and vsync will be this, and let's provide a duration. The duration will be constant duration, and inside we'll give milliseconds as 1000 for 1 second. No, actually we'll give this more than that. We'll give this 5000 for 5 seconds. And next thing, we'll have our animation equal to new tween, and we'll provide the begin as 0.0 and end as 200.0, and we say animation, we say animate and provide the controller to this. Next thing, we'll have animation dot add listener to have a listener placed, and here we'll close this from here, and here we'll have our set state, and here the animation will have a listener if wanted. Next thing, finally we'll say controller dot forward. And now we'll go to the body of our Dart file. Here for the title we'll give hello animation, and next thing we'll have a body. After the padding we'll have a height as animation dot value, and next thing we'll have a width. The width will be animation dot value as well. And next thing we'll have a child, a new center child, and here we say child, and we'll provide a new Flutter logo, and inside it we say size equals 300.0. So now we have made our first animation example so that we can test it inside our phone. To test this, let's say run animation example.dart, and after this Dart is built, I'll come back to you. Now let's see the animation in progress. I have seen it, but you didn't see it. Now I run this and show you. Let's run this again. And here, as you can see, this is our animation in progress. So we've built a twin animation till now. Let's test it again. So it's working perfectly well. We can see that the twin animation is in progress and it's working perfectly well. Now we'll talk about the animation builder and have another animation build. We'll go to this and select the Dart file. We say animation example 2, and inside here we'll have implement our live template. And next thing here we say with single ticker provider mixin. Okay, next thing we say animation and give it a name as animation, and next thing, like in the previous instance, we'll make an animation controller called controller. Then we'll have the init state built. Inside the init state we say controller equals new animation controller, and we think will be this, and let's give it a duration as constant duration, and for milliseconds we'll give 10,000 for 10 seconds. And next thing we'll have a final. This time we'll use a curved animation. So we'll say curved animation curve equals to new curved animation. Parent will be controller and curve will be curves dot ease a transition type of property. And next thing, we'll have our animation equals to new in again, just like before, and here we provide the height as we provide begin as 0.0 and end as 300.0, and we say dot animate, and we'll provide our curve to this, just like that. Next thing, we'll have a widget builder made. Widget builder, and inside it we'll give the build context and we'll give a widget child, and let's close this with brackets, and next thing we'll return a new container. Inside the container we'll give the height as animation.value and the width as animation.value as well, and we'll give this a child. The child will be Flutter logo, like this. Next thing, we'll remove this column from our body and we'll have a child, a center child, and inside it we'll give the child as new animation builder, and let's say the animation is animation and builder will be our builder that we just made. Alright, now we have successfully made another animation builder where you can see an animation. Let's run this and check the output. Now let's see the widget in animation. Here, as you can see, our app is loading and an animation is being shown. So this is the animation that we built so far. It works till 1 second. So this is another type of animation. We use the builder to build a custom animation in this instance. So alright, so that's how we build animation builder to implement animation. Okay, now the next thing, we'll have our animation listener implemented. So we'll have new dot and we'll call this animList, and inside it we'll declare our live template just like that. And now, like before, first thing, let's make this state my app with simple single ticker provider mixin, and next thing we'll have a animation named as animation an animation controller as controller, and next thing we'll have the init state again. Here the controller will be equals to new animation controller, and vsync will be this, and next thing we'll have a duration as milliseconds, constant duration, and here the milliseconds will be this time 5000, and we'll close this from here. And now we'll have a final curved animation, and we'll call this curve and make it equal to new curved animation, and the parent will be controller and the curve will be curves dot ease in, and next thing we say animation equals to new to in, and begin will be from 100.0 and end will be 300.0. And next thing we say animate, and we'll provide our curve to it just like this. Then we'll have animation dot add status listener, and inside it we'll close this from here, and let's make a listener now. We say void listener, and inside it we'll give animation status as status, and we'll have a if here made. We'll check if status equals to animation status dot completed, and if it's completed we say controller dot reverse. And next thing we'll have else clause. We'll check if this will be else if clause, and here we'll say check if as status is equals to animation status dot dismissed, and if that happens we'll say controller dot forward. Next thing we'll implement our listener inside the add status listener. Next thing we'll make another widget build. We'll say widget builder, and inside it we'll say build context, and we'll have a widget child, and we'll close this from here, and we'll return a container. Inside the container we'll have our height as animation dot value, and width as animation dot value, and we'll have a child a Flutter logo. Next thing we'll remove this column from here and we'll have a child, a center child. Inside the center child we'll give a child. This will be new animation builder. And animation will be animation and builder will be builder. Just like that. So now let's run this and check our animation in progress. Now what you see here is the animation we built so far. You can see that it's coming forward and going back and coming back and going back, just like that. So this is how to make another type of animation in Flutter. We use a listener as well, a status listener, to change the widget whenever needed. So this is how we make animation in Flutter. We made another type of animation and it's working perfectly well. Now let's wrap things up with a very complex animation. We have a new dot file placed. We say anime complex, and inside this we'll have our live template, and next thing we'll have a classmate. The class will be named animated logo and it will extend. First we'll have to import our animation dot. Then here the animated logo will extend animated widget, and we'll implement the missing overrides like this. Then inside the animated logo class, first we'll have a static final opacity tween, which will be equals to new tween, and the begin will be 0.1 and end will be 1.0, and we'll close this from here and we'll give this the type double. Next thing, we'll have another static final size tween, which will be equals to new. We'll copy this from here and we'll paste it here, and here we say begin as 0.0 and end as 300.0. Next we'll copy this again and paste it, and here we'll name this as rotate tween, and the begin will be 0.0 and end will be 12.0. Next thing, we'll have animated logo constructor. Inside it, first we'll give the key as key, and the animation, we'll give animation which is of the type double, and we'll call this animation. And here we say super, and we'll pass our key to it, and the key will be key, and then we'll have a listenable, and for that we'll pass our animation. Alright, next we'll remove this code from the widget build, and here we'll call final animation, and we'll have this of the type double, and we'll call this animation equals to listenable. Here there's an error, we'll change it to key and paste it there. And next thing, let's return a center child. Inside the center child, we'll have a child, we'll have new transform, dot rotate, and let's give angle for this. Angle will be our rotate 20 dot, and we'll evaluate it, and inside we say animation. And next thing, we'll have another child, and this child will be new opacity, and we'll pass our opacity to into this, and we'll say evaluate, and we'll provide the animation to it. Next thing, we'll have another child. This child will be a container. Inside the container, we say margin as new edgeinsets.all, no, we say edgeinsets.symmetric, and we provide vertical as 30.0, and next thing, the height will be size twin dot evaluate, and we'll provide the animation to it, and width will be size twin dot evaluate, and we provide the animation to it. Next thing, we'll have another child. This time it will be Flutter logo, just like that. Next we'll have another width, and this time we'll have single ticker per item state mixing inherited. So after that, we'll have a animation called animation, and animation controller called controller. Next we'll have the init state, and inside it we say controller equals to new animation controller, and vsync will be this, and duration will be constant duration, and inside it we'll give milliseconds as 2000, and we'll close it from there. And next thing we'll have animation equals to new curved animation, and parent will be controller, and curve will be our curves dot easing. Next thing we'll have animation dot add status listener, and we'll close it from there. And now let's make our listener. We will say void listener, and inside it we'll have animation status as status. And next thing we'll have if again. We'll check if status equals to animation status dot completed, and if that happens we'll say controller dot reverse. And next thing we'll have a else if again. Here we will say else if the status equals animation dot dismiss, we'll say controller dot forward, just like that. Next, to wrap things up, we remove this column, and after this we'll have a child. We say new animation logo, and the animation will be equals to animation. And let's add our listener to the add status listener, just like this. Alright, now let's run this and check the output. Now what you see here is our animation, the final complex animation that we built so far. You can see that it's rotating and it's animating very wonderfully. Wow, this is very awesome. I think this animation is very nice to look at, and so we have made a very complex animation that rotates and pop-ups and is a scene. So that's how we make animations in Flutter. So this is the last lesson for the animation lesson, and all the steps for the animation tutorial has been finished. So today's lesson was about animations in Flutter, and I've taught you a lot about animations in Flutter. So I'll come back to you with another lesson another time. So this is the end for today's lesson, and I'll see you again after some time. I'll come up with another lesson and I'll see you again. So till then, goodbye guys, and please take care.